Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so glad you could join us today for this important training on how to organize your life while going through a family court case. Whether you're dealing with divorce, child custody, or domestic violence issues, being organized can help reduce stress, maintain focus, and ultimately lead to better legal outcomes. So, the purpose of this study group today is to provide you with tools and strategies to stay organized during this difficult time in your life. We'll talk about how proper organization can help with everything from gathering documentation to staying on top of family court deadlines and taking care of your mental health. So here's a little overview of the training. We'll be covering 5 main areas today. 1, we're going to document management, how to collect and organize your paperwork. 2, time management, creating schedules and prioritizing tasks. 3, communication, how to effectively communicate with your legal team and the opposing party. 4, mental health and self-care, strategies for managing stress during your case. And 5, keeping a clear record for court, documenting everything in a way that supports your case. Now, if you're like me, and I assume that you are, that when you were going through family court and everything was happening to you, or if it is still happening to you, it was very, 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 very stressful. The trauma left you almost paralyzed and unable to work or move towards your goals. The purpose of this study group today is to make sure that you have the tools and the organization skills that you need to prepare for your case so that you can better present yourself in court, show up prepared, and feel more confident. So we're going to move on to section 1, document management. So gathering documents. One of the most crucial aspects of staying organized is managing your documents. These documents are your lifeline in court, and they need to be easily accessible. The types of documents that you need to collect. This is what you need to gather. So 1, court orders, motions, and pleadings, any official court documents related to your case. And it's best to have digital format of that. But if you only have the physical format, that's okay. Put it into digital formats so that you have both of them. 2, correspondence with lawyers and opposing party. So keep records of all emails, letters, or communication related to your case. In my email, I make a folder, and anything that comes in that's related to my court case, I'll store it in the folder. I'll also print out a copy to add to my case binder. 2, correspondent. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. 3, financial documents. This includes tax returns, pay stubs, and bank statements, or anything else that might fall into the financial document category. 4, evidence of domestic violence. So if applicable, gather police reports, medical records, and any other documentation. And make sure that you have both digital and physical copies in your case binder. 5, child-related documents. So any school records, medical reports, and parenting schedules. You would store those in there. So when you create folders on your desktop or laptop that will hold all your digital filings, make sure that you have one folder that is for the entire case, and then make sure you put each one of these 5 types into their own folder. that just helps me stay really, really organized. And then also keep copies of everything on hard drives. And I always suggest that people have 2 or 3 hard drives because these key cases can go on for years. And I would suggest sending them to people that you trust. Maybe an aunt, maybe a cousin, maybe a best friend, maybe putting one in a safety deposit box at, wherever you can, especially if you're still living in the situation, just to protect your evidence. You'd be surprised at how many times I've had people tamper with my evidence, and I wished that I had known all of this previously so that I could protect what evidence I did have better. And then that way, if your hard drive or if your laptop is stolen or your hard drive is corrupted, you always have backups that you can get back to. Okay, so next we're going to go on to creating a case binder. So once you've gathered your documents, it's time to organize them into a case binder. And here's how I would structure it. So I would put court orders and filings in chronological order. Then I would have evidence and exhibits such as photos, text messages, or emails in another part of the binder. The third part of the binder, I would put financial information. So like I said, if you're doing this digitally, that would be its own folder, financial documents. And then communication records. So this would be the logs of conversations, texts, and emails with both parties. So like I said, digital copies and are important. It's a great idea to keep both physical and digital copies of everything. You never know if, there could be an EMT blast. I mean, that's pretty far-fetched, but you never know. And so if you're filing things digitally, excuse me for not being able to talk today, apps like Evernote, Trello, or OneNote can be very helpful with organizing your digital records. So that was Evernote, Trello, or OneNote if you're keeping notes right now. Section 2, time management. So creating a court case calendar is going to be imperative for you so that you can have like a set place where you can look at everything and what's due and when. It's critical to stay on top of court deadlines and court dates because you will be held in contempt or you could get a default judgment by missing a deadline or a date. So those are very important. It's hard to backpedal once something like that has happened. Important dates to track. Here's what to mark in your calendar: court hearings and deadlines for submitting documents, meetings with your lawyers or mediators. Sorry. You do want to meet with therapists as well. And you could also schedule your self-care and therapy sessions into your calendar as well, just to help keep you balanced. And also you're going to want to put your parenting time schedules and exchanges with the other party in your calendar as well, just to make sure that you don't miss dates or that you're aware of if dates have been missed. Color coding. I recommend color coding your calendar. So court dates, I put in red. Children's activities, I mark in blue. Self-care, I mark in green. And that gives you a clear visual of what's coming up. And I can't stress enough how important it is for you to also schedule your self-care. We get almost you know, tunnel vision when we think about what is coming up for us and what we need to focus on. So scheduling and self-care is really going to help you balance out your focused brain and allow you to sink back into a state of rest and recovery instead of being in fight or flight mode all the time. So another thing that I suggest is setting daily and weekly goals. Every day, list 3 to 5 tasks that are related to your case, and then just tick off the boxes after you've implemented them. Every single time that you complete a task and you check off the box, you're going to create more of a desire to get things done. And that will help you stay ahead of any appointments or be able to review any deadlines, and just make sure that you're reviewing your schedule at the beginning of each week and at the beginning of every day so that you know what is in store. Prioritizing tasks. I like to use the Eisenhower matrix. So I'd like to show you guys that real quick. So one tool for prioritizing tasks is the Eisenhower matrix. And if you're not familiar with this method, it helps you decide what to do first and what can wait. So let me show you how that works. I'm going to share my screen with you so I can show you an image. And, oh wait, 1 second. Did I pull that off of that? 1 second, please. Thank you. Let's see. Oh, this way. All right. So please excuse my GPT generated image, but I thought something like this would just be easier for me to show you guys how I classify each of the things. So the Eisenhower matrix comes with a few things. First, there's a do first, then there's a schedule for later, there's a delegate, and there's an eliminate section. Okay, so this will kind of show you how that would be set up. So now I'm going to explain each of the quadrants and how you would classify whether they would be important, delegated, scheduled for later, or eliminated. 1 second. Okay. So do first would be your urgent and important tasks, like submitting legal documents by a deadline. And then schedule would be important but not urgent tasks, like maybe organizing your case binder or reviewing evidence. Your third delegate section would be urgent tasks that someone else can handle, like arranging childcare, or maybe it's filing a response, and that's something that your lawyer could handle. And then the fourth would be something that could be eliminated. So tasks that are neither urgent nor important, like spending time on social media or, organizing the garage. When we're in these stressful situations, it's interesting how our mind can try to take us away from what's important and have us focus on so many other things that we end up self-sabotaging. And that's why it's really important for you to stay organized, and to have a clear outline of what needs to get done in order to help eliminate self-sabotage so that you're prepared for what's coming. So time blocking. Finally, the use of time blocking is set aside specific periods each day for case preparation, for meditation, for self-care. This is important and will help you avoid burnout. So now we're going to go on to the next section, which is communication. So communicating with your legal team. Good communication with your lawyer is key. You'll need to keep a record of all meetings and conversations. Always go into meetings with clear questions and an understanding of your goals. You'd be surprised at how many times I've talked to people who have said that they thought everything was going well with their lawyer. And then just days before a hearing, the lawyer sent them an invoice for $4,000. And that is due to a breakdown in lack of communication. And that has left people without representation going into hearings. And that is why I stress that communicating with your legal team is vital to your success. You want to track every conversation. After every meeting or phone call, log what was discussed in a journal. Any follow-up tasks that you need to do need to go into your calendar or to-do lists, and make sure that you're recording all the deadlines that you discussed. This ensures that nothing gets overlooked. You want to work on managing communication with the opposing party. When communicating with the opposing party, especially if there's a history of conflict, keep it professional and in writing if possible. Emails and texts can serve as evidence if needed. Keep your tone respectful and document every exchange. So I'll tell you a story. My case was a high conflict custody case. And I chose to go back to my ex after he was awarded 50-50 custody in an attempt to protect my child from being alone with their abuser. I would do a voice recording of every single day that my ex was with us. And at the end of the day, I had an online journal just in my Google Docs where I would put the day's events, and I'd put about approximate times that I would do everything. I also would write down the time that I started the recording and the time that I ended the recording. So my recordings were 8 to 10 hours long, depending on what the day's events were. So keeping that journal really helped me in situations when I needed to reference back to a certain event and pull the information from those recordings quickly. Okay, we're going to move on to emotional and mental health management. So I can't stress enough that this is really difficult situation to be in family court and to be perpetually abused throughout, seeking protection and being in a constant fight or flight mode. It can do a lot to your health and to your body. So it's imperative that during this time you try to eat as healthy as you can. It's important to practice different mindfulness or healthcare management or self-care management practices so I'm going to go over a few of them. So handling a family court case is incredibly stressful. So let's focus on some strategies to help you stay calm and focused. Establish a daily routine. So creating a routine that includes physical activity, sleep, and healthy eating, making time for self-care, whether it's a walk, reading, or simply having a moment of quiet, is going to be crucial for you in not burning out and then having an emotional breakdown. So if you guys want, I think I can do a class on nutrition and what can get you out of fight or flight mode, what can restore balance to your body, because what happens when we're in constant stress and constant fight or flight mode is that our body will produce a lot of cortisol. And if we have too much cortisol in our body, we create a lot of bile in our stomach. All of these symptoms can lead to deeper levels of illness. So there are, and I used to teach nutritional coaching back in the early 2000s. And so if that's something that you guys would like to have, I can teach you what supplements and superfoods can help you get through those stressful situations, to eliminate the excess bile, to help with your digestive process, to help balance cortisol, and to help you so that you can really be present and really be functioning in a optimal way. So mindfulness, meditation, and yoga. So let's practice some mindfulness techniques and breathing exercises that you can use to relax during stressful moments. So yoga poses, seated forward bends, child poses, and the child pose can really help you release a lot of tension. Forward folds. So a forward fold is if you're like standing and you just kind of bend over and try to touch your toes or the ground and just hanging there loosely, allowing the top of your half of your body just to relax, can really help during a stressful moment. Let's see. So then we're going to talk about manifestation meditations. And I'm going to tell you a quick story about why that's really important. I'm a firm believer that the world is made up of frequencies, that we're made up of vibrations, and that whatever we are vibrating at, we attract that into our lives as well. And it's kind of like two magnets. Like, so if somebody's vibrating really low and they're full of anger and hate and fear, they're going to attract more people who are also full of anger, hate, and fear, because that's just the two waves are on the same wavelength. It's not a right or wrong thing. It's just kind of how it works and how our world works. And during the most stressful points of my case, I remember feeling a lot of anger, a lot of hurt, a lot of fear, a lot of pain. And when I really tried to rein in my emotions and like really get a hold of like who I was and what I wanted to create for my life, I started doing Dr. Joe Dispenza meditations. I don't know if you know who he is. If you're interested in any of his meditations, you can message me afterwards and I'll send you some links to some of my favorite meditations of his. Essentially, he thinks or he teaches that you can create the future of your dreams by matching the frequency of what your future self would feel like. For example, every morning I would wake up and I would imagine myself winning my court case over and over again. And I would just try to really sink into that emotional space of what it would feel like to win. Like I imagined my judge telling me, "All right, we'll protect you. Here you go." And then I would imagine, coming home and telling my friends and family, "Oh my gosh, we're safe. Everything's okay now. It's all done. We've won," et cetera, et cetera. And it was really at that point in my case that things started to shift and change for the better. And I'm telling you that we had one miracle after another until I literally won my case, and my ex went away, and now my daughter is safe. So he ended up taking a plea deal to get out of a protective order, which allowed him to terminate his parental rights. And that is how we won. And that's how I protected my daughter. Was I used those manifestation meditations every single morning. I was diligent about getting my brain to see, feel, connect to the future that I wanted, because I wanted to pull that future to myself. And we can go on to boxed breathing. This is a good technique for if you're in court, or if you're, in a situation where you feel like you're starting to spin out of control emotionally. And then it would be something like this. So you'd inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, and then exhale for 4 counts. And this is called box breathing. So you would inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4 counts, and exhale for 4 counts. And just keeping this repetitive awareness around your breathing can just be what you need to calm your nerves and to relax your mind, to be in the present. Dealing with court-related anxiety. Before a court hearing, practice these techniques. Remind yourself to stay grounded. Take your time and ask for questions to be repeated or rephrased if you need more time to understand what is being asked of you. And I put this section into this training because it's really important for you guys to understand that if you have to testify, or if you have to represent yourself pro se while in court, they, it's easy to feel like you're starting to disassociate. And it's easy for people who have dealt with chronic post-traumatic stress disorder to kind of lose cognition and not fully understand what is going on in the present moment. So that's why I put this part in, because you get to remind yourself to stay grounded, to take your time responding, to ask for any questions to be repeated or to be rephrased if you need more time to understand them. And that will help you to respond in a way that is impactful and effective. And the opposing party will most likely try to get you to respond in a yes or no manner. So like they would ask you questions that you could just say yes or no. But you don't have to do that. You can go into detail and give them a clear answer that clearly demonstrates what you mean. And that eliminates any way for them to twist your words, if you know what I mean. Okay, so now we're going to talk about keeping a clear record for court. So logging everything in court, documentation is crucial. Keep a detailed log of all incidents related to your case, especially if there are violations of court orders or inappropriate behavior from the other party. So if you're in court and you're acting pro se, or you see something like maybe the judge heckles you or rolls their eyes, or maybe the opposing counsel rolls their eyes or flips you off, or whatever it might be, you can say, for the record, the opposing counsel just flipped me off. For the record, the opposing counsel just laughed at me. And this helps document your record on file with the court, so that when you're in an appeal process, or if somebody is trying to review your case to see if there were errors, that those things are noted, because those things are important as well. Another thing that really supports me to do before I go into court is I will ask my GPT to write me down all of the violations and the key points that I have that are going to be argued in that hearing, and to give me strong arguments for them, so that when I'm in court, I have everything right there in front of me, and I can just look at it in a brief moment and be like, okay, we're talking about this custody order. So these are the arguments that I want to make around it. And that way, even if you are freaking out and you just want to run away and you're not thinking clearly, that you have everything right in front of you so that you can be more prepared. Okay. Let's see. We also want to talk about having a child custody journal. So if you're dealing with custody, you want to keep a parenting time journal to document exchanges and any issues that might come up during visitations. This can serve as valuable evidence later on if, say, you want to prove that they aren't consistent. So you'll want to show in a timeline of events, that are in relationship to the parenting time journal. So-and-so showed up for 3 weeks, and then after that, they disappeared for a year. And that just helps the court to see that there were some major inconsistencies that happened with your ex, and allows them to better make a decision based on truthful facts, instead of just, oh, now my ex is in court and he wants full custody because he says I'm such a bad mom. Okay. So another thing that we need to think about is what are the best interests of the child standard? So always ensure your documentation supports the best interests of the child. And I talked about this long time ago when I was trying to teach people how to write motions before we were using, OpenAI to do all of that. And I would say, okay, so I read a research paper, and it was about why there was so much victim blaming in the world. And one of the key factors to why people who are victims get blamed a lot for what they talk about is because they are self-centered in their conversation. I was hurt. I was punched in the face. I was strangled. I was, alienated. I was abused. And so the human brain, when we hear a sentence or a problem, we automatically want to solve the problem. We just don't, if we don't have enough context, then it's easy for our brains to assume that the subject matter of the sentence is the problem. So can you see how that ties into your responses or any kind of communication that you have with the courts or your lawyer or the opposing counsel or your ex? If you're saying, I'm being blah, 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 then the judge is going to think, okay, you're the problem. So whenever you're writing something, you always want to talk about what's in the best interest of the child and always put the perpetrator as the subject of the sentence. So if the perpetrator is the subject of the sentence, it would be something like so and so did X, which is a violation of the children's best interest. It goes against their constitutional rights, et cetera, et cetera. And when you tailor all of your evidence and your actions to prioritize this need, then it's kind of harder for the judge to be biased. Okay. So, I'm just going to recap a few key points. We talked about document management, time management, communication, mental health strategies, and keeping clear records for the court. All of these tools will help you stay organized and empowered during your case. And then just remember, staying organized is not just about being on top of things. It's about taking control of your situation. So organization reduces stress and allows you to approach your case with clarity and confidence. So now I'd like to open up the floor if there are any questions or if you have any specific issues with your case or need personalized strategies, feel free to ask. Hi, Margaret. How are you?
Actually, can I piggyback off of one of the strategies when you were mentioning the box breathing?
Yes,
Um,
please.
my therapist gave me a suggestion, especially when you're in court, because if something you want to make sure you're doing something that's discreet. And his suggestion to me was to take your feet and try and push them through the floor. Obviously that's not going to happen, but it's like a good way. All of a sudden your thighs will burn. It's a way to get some of that cortisol out of your brain, that's, or your body, the adrenaline, and kind of redirect it. And I think that, coupled with the box breathing, is a good way to sort of ground yourself, especially if you feel like you're getting emotional or caught up in just the drama of like the proceedings, especially if, when the other side is saying things that you don't want to hear.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Margaret. That's amazing. And just so you guys know, Margaret made a GPT and it's all about practicing self-care, and it will help you schedule self-care for your day if you work with it. So if you guys want that, she's offering it to people for free. So you can reach out to me and I will send you a link to her amazing GPT that kind of helps. So if you haven't ever done self-care and you've never practiced any techniques like yoga or breathing, then reach out to me and I will send you that GPT because it will help you to understand what things you can do and how to schedule them throughout your day so that you can get the most out of yourself. Because when we're calm and focused and not in fight or flight, when we're in rest and relax mode, it's easier for us to create, to see possibility, to see change, to become adaptable. And it's imperative to getting through really hard, stressful situations like this. All right. If anyone else has any questions. No? Okay. I would like to share with you guys my screen again so that I can show you a worksheet that I put together for us um, for this type of homework. So I can send this out to you guys. Just message me, email me. I respond to text best. So if you're not in the WhatsApp group, let me know and I can put you in there. I like to keep that for scheduling. So you can just send me a personal WhatsApp request and ask me any questions that you want. You can also message me on Messenger or whatever platform it is that we connected on. I just kind of put together a little worksheet that will kind of help you remember everything that we talked about today. It shows the Eisenhower matrix and how to go through each of your tasks to triage them to make sure that you're focusing on what is the most important every day. And then just remember that we want you to do 3 to 5 steps towards your goal a day if you can. If you can't, it's understandable, but just try to do it as often as you can, because it's those baby steps that are going to get big results in the end. And then just different tips. These are different prompts that I put in here so that it can ask you a question and you can do some self-discovery to see how you would schedule that for yourself. And then just talks about how to keep a clear record for court so that when you do have court, that you're prepared. When we're prepared, it's night and day. So it's easy for our trauma brain to kind of just go off into a tangent and be distracted by daily events. I mean, we all have families, we all have jobs, we all have things that we're doing, and other things will come up. And if you're constantly distracted and don't have anything managed out as far as what you can spend your time on, then you're going to quickly get overwhelmed and may feel like you're drowning in your case. And that is why I stress that it's really important for us to be as organized as possible, because that will help you be prepared and help you fight back better. I know this class was a little bit shorter than some of our other ones. And maybe we can explore a topic that I can present for next week. I don't know if anyone has anything that they're struggling with that I might be able to support you. Or I could also show you guys how we've been doing GPTs. I know some of you have been following me for a while, but yet you are unfamiliar with all the tools that we have now. I've been doing advocacy for about 5 years now, and I started out with the website. It's a forum group. You can go on, you can get resources. You can chat in your state to see if there are other people that are near you to build community and support for yourself. Then recently this year, we started going into understanding legalese with mutual aid and benefits so that people can understand what is happening to them in their family court cases. And then just recently, we also started building GPTs on OpenAI. So I'm putting together right now a course that will teach people how to build their own GPT. And then I'm going to also offer training on how to provide different OpenAI services and how to market yourself online. So if you're struggling with abundance, if you're struggling with scarcity, you're struggling to find the income to get stuff done, then that's definitely something that you'll want to check back in with me on. And as soon as that is finished, I will make sure that I send it out to as many people as I can. So just know that that is coming. And with that, I would like to say that I'm really excited because how I'm going to frame the support system and the group settings of that is going to be really crucial to your success. My plan is to implement a buddy system so that each one of us has somebody that can help us get through our legal filings. Often it's hard for people to even read a legal motion because it's almost like another language. And if you have a buddy that, isn't attached to the outcome or isn't triggered by the key events or the key words that are in the motions, they can read that for you and then kind of help you understand what is going on, or they can help you work on preparing anything that you need for family court. So on top of the buddy system, and in order to help people who are new, who might be paired up together, is I'm going to build a triad system as well on top of that, where you will have access to one, and I'm not going to say like trainer. It's more like a leader, somebody who's been going through it a little bit longer than you, maybe somebody who has a little more experience in it than you, maybe. And then it would be you three that would check in every single day. The more experienced part of the triad, the top of the triad, would be able to give you prompts, homework, anything that they feel is imperative to where you and your buddy are at, so that you guys can get the most out of all the support system. And then you guys will check in daily. And then once a week, we're going to have a bigger check-in and a bigger call. These calls and check-ins will happen on WhatsApp. So it's just an app where you can download and you can stay connected with people. And I know some people don't like using apps. We could probably figure out a way to work around that, but I'd prefer if we use the apps just so that everything stays organized and you don't get lost. And part of that is because, I mean, I don't even know how many mothers I've talked to who have contemplated suicide. And many have committed suicide. And if there was maybe a buddy who could have checked in with them to make sure that they weren't drowning, then it could have possibly helped them fight harder and have the strength to get through what they were going through. And so that's my dream for the triad and the buddy system. The calls, the once a week calls that would be with a bigger system would include multiple triads, and in that there will be one trainer. The trainer will walk you through what you need to complete for that week, and then the triad leaders will help you guys remember what it is that you should do. They'll check in. They'll make sure everybody's checking in, and then they'll report back up to the training leaders, just so that we can make sure that everyone's taken care of and people aren't getting lost in the chaos of their lives. And I really feel like having this support system is going to be big for us. And I'm hoping that through the coursework and through these support systems, we're really going to make an impact in how we can rally, how we can, do lobbying and push new laws through. Because if we have a system where we're all checking in with each other and nobody's being left behind, then we're going to have power in numbers and we're always going to be stronger together. Okay. And don't worry if you feel like, you're not getting along with your buddy or in your triad. We can always do a switch where we place you in another buddy system or another triad. And so don't ever feel like you're going to get stuck with somebody that, maybe isn't as supportive, or maybe isn't just, you guys have too many differences, whatever that might be. Because the goal of what I'm trying to create for everybody is that nobody's left in the dark and that we can all do this together. So I guess that's everything that I have for today. And I'm really excited to share more with you guys, but I'm not complete with it. So as soon as I'm complete with it, I will let you guys know, and I'll make sure that you guys have an invitation to everything. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Margaret. And thank you so much for sharing your GPT with us. It's wonderful. And if anybody wants the GPT or if anybody wants the worksheet for today, they can just message me. Okay. Have a good day.
Very cool. And by the way, Kay Don, thank you so much. And if you need help with anything, let me know.
Oh, thank you so much, sweetheart. I really
I just have
appreciate
I have some good news. If I could share
Oh,
some good
yes,
news.
please. I'm on.
So I won my Supreme Court case.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. That's
Oh, you didn't know that? Oh, I
No.
haven't seen my kids in 5 years, but
Oh
I've
my-
been and before Chat GPT, so old school, I
Yes.
went to the state appellate court and won, but then my ex filed a motion to reconsider. Then it was scooped up by the state Supreme Court, and pro se, I won at the Supreme Court level. And
Wow.
October 9th, we go back for a new trial for visitation.
Oh, wow. That is
So
so great.
And I can
Congratulations.
tell you with the last, like his motion for reconsideration, and of course I file an objection. And this time I had chat. So it was so much easier.
Right.
Then they filed a motion to strike. They said I was trying to bring off too much sympathy because, sometimes chat can be empathetic.
Yeah.
And I got a call from the clerk's office saying that the judges want to wrap this up. So you have 4 days instead of 30 to make, if you want to submit a reply brief. So I'm talking to them on the phone. I'm typing away. 15 minutes later, my objection to the motion to strike was filed while I was on the phone.
Nice.
And both of them denied.
Nice. Yeah.
So it's definitely been something that's helpful.
Yes.
It's kind of changed, everything I've been doing in court and because I've been coaching moms, I don't know for how many years. And so this really is a game changer to bring this.
Incredible. Yeah.
So,
and I'm so proud of you, sweetheart. I truly am proud of you because there's so much trauma in having your children ripped from you, not being able to see them. And I see that you fought through all of those challenges and that you educated yourself and you really took the time to fight for this. And I'm so proud of you. And the fact that we have GPT now and OpenAI to help us really fight and to not waste as much time. Because, oh man, I would spend hours and hours writing these stupid motions. So I'm so thankful that it doesn't take as much time anymore because that gives us more time for self-care and for our family. So thank you.
And after all of this is done, because my kids are going to age out in a year and a half. My daughter's going to age out in March, my son a year and a half from now. And actually, one of the things I'm going to do is go to his attorneys and say, oh, did you want me to teach you how to write a motion? Let me teach you. Because their motion, like by comparison, and this is the appellate attorney that my ex is spending $850 an hour for.
Oh no.
And I've kicked his ass twice at the appellate level.
That's hilarious. I've seen that quite often actually, where like their motions are like, wow, they didn't even put half a brain into this. They just wrote it on their lunch and they forgot this and that and this and that. But yeah, that is powerful. And it's so powerful too, because like before we did not have these tools. It was like a advanced course. Like you had to just be like, okay, I've got to teach myself this language. I've got to understand what's happening. And you're doing all this research. You're on websites and in the law library. And the fact that we can bring it stronger than people who actually went to school for law, this is going to change a lot. I have a feeling in the
Yeah.
future.
And even in business, I mean, in all areas, like I've noticed there's a lot of posts on LinkedIn now that learning AI is going to give you the edge, like even in other, in
Oh,
all kinds of careers.
absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
and
Absolutely.
yes, Donna, yeah, they should be scared of us.
Exactly. It should be, and they will be. I guarantee you they're starting to get scared now, especially once we start targeting all these corrupt court players and start
Mhm.
suing each one of them individually as individuals. And we start taking away their impunity. And we really like, I know someone who has impeached or not impeached, recused all of the judges that have touched her case. And on top of that, for some of them, she was able to get their judicial retirement pulled. Like that's a huge deal. And if judges start hearing about that, they're going to be shaking in their boots. You better believe. Mhm.
Well, the thing is too, we need to find a way to educate people about the appellate process because a
Yeah.
lot of times, because really that's the oversight, I guess, mechanism that we have is
Yes.
the appellate
Mm.
court. And if you miss your appeal window,
Yes.
then all you can do is file a motion to modify, but that's still keeping you in the lower court
Yes.
um, until that happens.
Thank
So,
you so much. That's what I'll do the next training on then is the appellate process.
oh, if you want some help, let me know.
Okay. Thank you.
Been there, done that three
That
times.
would
I've
be so
actually
fun.
reversed four judges' decisions.
Oh, wow. That's great.
So at the
That's
appellate level.
great. Another thing that I would really like to work on for a study group topic is I just talked with Monica recently, and she was able to get her court into federal and stop everybody in in the lower courts from being able to do any kind of decisions or motions or anything like that. And I can't remember exactly the strategies that she said she used, but she said it was really powerful. And now, so I think something like that would be amazing to teach as well, because any kind of
Mhm.
strategies that we can implement in these situations is going to help anyone who is going through it. Because if they know different techniques or strategies, it's just like MMA, if you know how to do a headlock, you're going to do a headlock. If you know how to do an armbar, you're going to do an armbar. So the more that we can teach them, the better. Yes, absolutely. Awesome.
Very,
Okay.
very cool.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining,
Yeah,
everybody.
I'm so sorry I was late.
Oh, no, no worries at all. I just try to start on time so that the recording, and then I record and I'm gonna put it into, I think the audio format is the safest for everyone because I noticed not everybody goes in and changes their name and I want to keep everybody anonymous and that will just be easier to do on audio. So I'll do an audio and I'll post that up on my YouTube channel. I only don't post the ones where I give personal details or accounts about my case that could be weird. So, but I'll post this one.
And thank you for joining Me Too Family Court Connecticut.
Yes. I love it. Me Too Family Court, United States. Here we come.
Yes, I know one in every state. That's what me and Marissa are working on.
Perfect. Perfect. I love that. I'm so excited for
Good.
that too. Okay.
All
So,
righty.
okay. Have a good
Take
night.
care, sweetheart.
Okay. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.